And we are back, a football discussion. We're here, our first episode of On the Pitch, and we're joined by our 3 regulars, Sam, Lewis, and Ed.
Hello.
Hello.
Hey.
Okay, and we're going to be getting in. Obviously, this is our first episode of On the Pitch. This is like the pilot episode. We're going to be going over a lot of things that happened in football, mostly the Premier League, during the current week. So we've got some North London derby talk. We've got some Chelsea, some things that are going on with Man United. We're going to be talking about the 3 promoted teams, and we're going to meet Sam and Lewis are going to be doing our FPL transfers live at the end of the episode. So you've got all that to look forward to. So I suppose let's kick it off with the North London derby. Obviously, it was a big game of the weekend. What do you guys think of it?
Do you guys want to go first? Or?
I don't mind. As a neutral, I enjoyed it. Me and Michael watched it together, and Michael was very, very stressed. A lot of, very animated man. But it was good. It was good. I thought Tottenham should have won, to be honest. I thought they were the better team. Obviously, the own goal was lucky. Penalty, I don't think it was a penalty, to be honest. It's one of them where, if it's given for you, it's fine or whatever. But yeah, no, I thought Tottenham were unlucky. I was very impressed, I'll be honest.
Yeah, I think I was really impressed with our performance.
It's a bit of a vintage North London derby, huh?
Yeah. I mean, every kind of derby is usually... I think derbies in the past like that, they would have gotten away from us. I think Spurs, we've seen in the past, I think there's a couple of years ago where we got it back to 2-1 and then it was 4-2. And, we just kind of usually crumble at the Emirates, especially. And
to be honest with you, mate, over the weekend I would have been disappointed with that draw because I think Tottenham probably were the better team, and I think this is going to sound harsh, but if Christian Romero wasn't playing that day,
if Romero wasn't playing, we would have lost by more. Our next centre back would either be Ashley Phillips or Dyer. So
you have no other choice? Okay, that's fair enough. But
I mean, plus I thought Romero had a good game apart from this. Well, the own goal.
Directly.
The own goal was.
It just was. Yeah.
The own goal. I mean, that's his fault. It was his own goal. The penalty. I mean, I didn't think it was a penalty, but obviously, I mean, we can get into that. What did you guys think of? Was it a penalty?
I think his arm was in an unnatural position, but then again, it's so hard to say because. When someone's coming down like that, where do they put it? But I guess it did obstruct quite clearly.
Yeah, I mean, I think the thing is, it's more. It probably is a handball based on the law, but it's just no one knows what the law is,
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think there's so many. You could put different handball situations next to each other. One is a penalty, one isn't. There's no consistency from one week to the next.
I agree.
Every week, there's a decision's been made.
Yeah. And clearly it was a close one because VAR looked at it about 10 times before they even called over the referee to look at it on the monitor.
I personally think it was a penalty though. That's just my.
I mean, yeah, fair enough. I think it was definitely close. I'd say it's not clearly not a penalty.
I just watched it back and I think it was very close. I think it's very hard to determine some handball calls. Obviously the whole idea of ball to hand instead of handball hand to ball.
Yeah.
But I think it was a very, very close call. So
yeah, I mean, if it's further away as well, I think it is handball. But it's so close to him as well. I mean,
absolutely.
There's his hand does stay in, whether it's a natural position or not. His hand does stay in that position the entire time. It's not like he's moved it towards the ball.
Yeah.
And from such a close angle, he wouldn't. There's no way he can get it out of the way. But then at the same time, is that ball going in if his hand isn't there? It's such a tight call to make, I suppose.
No, of course, yeah.
But yeah, I think I get what you mean, but I think I'd say Spurs shouldn't be disappointed more in that, especially looking at the history of the fixture, that was a really good result. Plus, I think that even though they were the better team, we didn't really create a clear-cut chance after we got it back to 2-2. There's no moment that you could look at and go, Richarlison should have scored that, or if Maddison makes that pass. I think the one Pedro Porro crosses it in, that was as close as it got, really. That really nice move, I think, around the 80th minute. That's kind of as close as it got. So I get that we were probably the better team, especially since we got the equaliser. But
both teams probably think that it's 2 points dropped, to be honest.
Yeah, I definitely. I've seen a lot of Arsenal fans think that as well. And I think overall it was probably a fair result in the end.
I honestly think for Arsenal, it's a very lucky draw for them.
Really?
Honestly, yeah. They're looking a bit. I don't know. They're looking a little bit shaky recently. Like
Still unbeaten, but
but
a couple draws now.
yeah, they've been unbeaten or draw like holding on for like dear life.
They've not had any kind of statement victory yet. When you look at it, I think our victory, Spurs' victory against Man United, and I mean the Sheffield United victory, kind of in a different way, are two kind of statement victories. Arsenal's wins have all been, I know they have beaten Man U as well, but that was kind of, they did.
It was late on.
It was late on, and it was a bit different. And I think the Fulham game was really close. There's not. I don't think they've had that statement win yet, but I think that.
I don't think it's need to worry for us.
No. I wouldn't say that either. It's just getting. And plus, if you're getting results when you're looking, you're not looking your best.
Yeah.
That when you start to look your best, you can look better. Yeah. Obviously, I think the one thing that they will have is Declan Rice. Obviously, came off end of the first half.
On the old Chelsea boys.
Yeah.
Substitution.
Jorginho and Havertz.
Yeah, apparently Jorginho didn't have a good game.
No, he did not.
okay.
He did not. He was at fault. He was at fault for the second Spurs goal.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Yeah, he was
Havertz
just.
is on the pitch, then that's unfortunate. Anyway.
Yeah, I mean, obviously Declan Rice, he had some discomfort in his back.
Oh, okay.
Arteta hopes that it's not long term, but I think apparently it's come out that Rice did ask to be substituted. So obviously,
Just to be, caution.
That would be a bit of worry for Arsenal fans if it is more of a long term thing. I mean, looking at their team without him, it was just it wasn't the same. I don't think whether Declan Rice is on or off the pitch changes the result of the North London derby. But I think long term with Jorginho in there and obviously Havertz coming on, it is just there's less. They don't have amazing depth. Arsenal.
Discrepancies between Arsenal and City is Arsenal's squad depth.
Yeah, 100%.
Ultimately, that's the reason they didn't win the league.
Yeah. Like, I'm looking at the team now. I think Arsenal are struggling with a lot of injuries, but there's not much depth on that bench,
especially compared to a City.
Yeah, exactly.
Liverpool this
Liverpool as
season
well, yeah.
come back.
Yeah.
Is Martinelli injured?
Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
And Trossard didn't play in the derby either.
Yeah.
I think also a lot of their depth is Rice and Jorginho aren't the same kind of midfielders, but they're being asked to do the same kind of roles. It's not even that they don't have good depth, even in terms of that the players aren't as good, but also that what they're doing is they're totally different. They can't fit the same roles either. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think obviously Spurs also came out with an injury concern. Perisic tore his ACL in training a couple of days after.
Oh, okay.
He just had surgery yesterday in Austria, so obviously we're wishing him a very good recovery.
Yeah.
And hope everything goes well. Another couple of injury bits for Spurs is that Brian Gill is now back in full training.
Oh, that's good.
And he should be ready for selection pretty imminently, which is what Alistair Gold said. And also that Ryan Sessegnon is now back in kind of light training.
Right.
Which I think is good for us because
Can he finally break into this?
yeah, hopefully. I mean, he did have a operation on his hamstring. I think it's been a pretty prevalent problem at him that kind of keeps recurring every couple of months at Spurs. So I think hopefully he's had that fixed, which will mean that the kind of soft tissue injuries will happen less.
I'd like to see what happened with Brian Gill. Actually, I think
he could be really good.
I've always liked,
especially
the way,
yeah.
Unironically, I know a lot of people sort of clown on him a bit, but I've seen glimpses of.
He could be really good, especially considering that Perisic is out right now, which kind of leaves that attacker that's going to come off the bench and provide a real spark.
Yeah.
There's kind of no one that's going to, is that position's up for grabs right now. And I think that Brian Gill, especially, and he's much more of an Ange style of winger than any of the managers, who's bought when Nuno was the manager, and Conte, even Ryan Mason when he was in caretaker charge, none of them kind of really knew how to use him in the most effective way.
You mentioned Ange, so for the football discussion, I would like to make an apology to Ange. I said on the predictions video that he'll get sacked in either September or October, and I'm definitely wrong about that.
So he's got about a week left, yeah.
No.
You never know.
I think Ange is doing a really, really good job at Spurs. How do you feel about everything at the moment with your club?
Really happy, honestly.
Yeah.
I think it's not even the fact, it's the style of play. It's just everything. I think the way he's answering in interviews, the kind of way he's coming across to the fans. I think no one's done a better job in, what I can think of at least, of turning around a club's kind of fortunes and just everything so quickly. I think that going into the season, there was a lot of, I was just like, look, if we just play well and we look good on the pitch, maybe the results won't be there. And obviously it's still early, but I think the fact that we look so good and like there's hope now, you know, I don't know what I expect from Spurs still this year, but I think, you know, I'd hope that there's a chance.
Refreshing.
Yeah, there's
from Mourinho and Conte.
Exactly. Yeah, I think that, you know, and there was things that, like Conte, when we played against AC Milan and we lost that game 1-0 in the San Siro, we could have won that game in the Champions League.
Yeah.
And afterwards he goes, you know, that kind of Spurs need to be humble and that, you know, losing to AC Milan is almost like a good result. He was like, they're the champions of Italy and all this stuff. Yeah. And Ange just come out and he's like saying, look, we're not afraid of anyone. We'll take the game to any team. It doesn't matter if it's Man City.
And he's got
it's like
he's got so many things right as well. Like, I'm really liking what they're doing with Son, like playing him in that striker role. I think he really, really suits it.
He's reinvigorated Son.
He's playing so well. Yeah, and I think that will also reinvigorate Richarlison, the fact that there's real competition. You know, it's not just that we've got like Valise, the young Argentinian striker, or someone, you know, or someone from the academy, but there's, you know, I mean, Son's pretty much taken his place, so he's going to have to fight to get it back. Yeah, exactly.
And it's turned out to be a pretty decent transfer window for you as well. Like, Vicario has come in as goalkeeper and you're doing a really, really good job.
Yeah.
And also James Maddison, what a player.
Oh my,
James, so good.
James
What a
Maddison.
bargain.
Yeah, not that Ange would agree with that.
No.
It is a bargain.
But yeah, I mean, very jealous of that signing, I must say.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, even as a rival fan, you have to. I like James Maddison a lot. I think he's
an exciting player to watch, isn't
he?
Yeah, so good.
And he kind of went under the radar, didn't he, before the season started? And now everyone's, you know.
Yeah, it's kind of incredible. I think our whole team kind of went under the radar just because everyone was looking at Arsenal, and I think obviously Poch came in at Chelsea, which we'll get onto in just a second. You know, I think Man United, could they take a bit of a leap? You know, everyone's looking at City. I think we've kind of fallen under the radar, which I think is I think that's the perfect way that it kind of happens and everything snowballed together.
There's less expectation. It allows you to play your sort of fluid football without
definitely
without any fear in your team. I mean, you've had serial winners as your last two managers, and it puts such a high expectation.
Yeah, 100%.
That's not good for a.
Plus, it kind of gives a personality clash there between players, the manager, and the ownership. Like, you don't want too many personality clashes there. I think Ange is the right person for the job. He's kind of like when Poch was at Spurs. He wasn't necessarily like a winner.
Yeah.
He was, you know, an upcoming manager who did really well at Southampton at the time before he
absolutely
went to Tottenham. And you know, he won the league with Celtic, but with no disrespect, winning the Scottish Premiership with Celtic isn't the biggest achievement, but you know, he's definitely an up-and-coming manager, and I think this is a good appointment for Spurs.
He's given Tottenham a chance to breathe. You know, when you've got Conte and Mourinho as your managers, you're expected to win trophies. You're expected to win game after game, but that's not Tottenham style. They need someone to sort of build them from the bottom. You know what I mean? And
I
he's
agree.
doing really well.
Anyway, now I think we'll get on to someone that we just mentioned, obviously a former Spurs manager in Mauricio Pochettino and his new team at Chelsea. I think I'll just kind of... We do.
You have to, yeah.
I think, you know, I'll just kind of let you guys go for a minute, and I'll interject here with some thoughts.
Because there's so many things that you could
be
talk about. Exactly. From the pitch to the transfers.
I mean, I suppose I'll kind of start with just kind of how would you kind of assess the first month of Premier League football, at least from Poch, or first couple of months?
Underwhelming. But that being said, I didn't have massively high expectations for Chelsea this season, but I think this is below what anyone was even expecting. I mean, is it 5 points from 6 games now?
Yeah,
I think he's had a worse start than Potter did.
He has,
Yeah.
So
definitely, I'd say.
But I'd say that, I mean, I know it's obviously the football has looked better.
I would say there is glimpses of like if we could just score a goal.
I know. Well, we're still defensively really, really good.
Yeah.
A lot of people forget that we are still defensively quite decent. We don't concede many goals.
No, you've conceded
for a long
5
time.
goals.
Yeah.
And last season, we still had one of the best defensive records.
Yeah.
Like, there was a time when Arsenal were in the top 2, and we were in the middle part of the table, and we had conceded less goals. I think we ended up conceded 2 more goals than Arsenal, but it's still pretty good considering where we're on the table. It's the attack.
And it's been that problem for a long time now, hasn't it? Attacking. I feel like I've been
Even
saying
under-
that
even
since the
under
beginning of
Tuchel.
last season.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know? Yeah, before then.
Like with
even.
like Werner and that, like we just can't score.
There is no clinical edge, and I know we're top of the league or whatever in expected goals or whatever.
Yeah,
but
but
that's-
it's not
but
really a
there's
good
no actual
stat to
goals.
have, though,
Yeah,
is
yeah.
it? It's
No.
not a really good stat
It's,
to have.
yeah,
No.
we don't want to entertain that stuff.
Yeah. Plus, I think expected goals, that could be like, the accumulation of chances and different things. Like, I mean, watching Chelsea games, there's often not loads, there's quite a few good chances. There's no there's not loads of clear-cut chances, if you know what I mean.
No, I mean, yesterday we actually finally managed to win the game.
Yeah.
In the
Goal,
Carabao
yeah.
in the Carabao Cup.
Score.
But throughout the whole game, both teams, I think there was a total of like 6 shots
Yeah.
by both teams, and obviously we only won 1-0. So
We have no identity. That's the problem.
I think-
We have so many
Yeah.
players that haven't played with each other, and every game
Yeah.
they're trying to get used to each other's.
like signing too many players doesn't always work.
No.
And since Todd Bodie has come in, he's hardly made signings that you're supposed to sign players who are good.
Yeah.
He's made players who he signed players who could be good. Like they looked good, and
He's gone down the potential.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean, I think you're only signing, or only a couple of signings really, who are players who could there's only a couple you can think of where like Disasi, he looks good. I'd say Nicholas Jackson. I know he's had a bit of an iffy start with finishing, but I think he looks really good.
Yeah, I don't know what to think of him. I
obviously,
really don't.
Nkunku is kind of the only. He's the real star man, and
Yes.
he's already that good. But I think most of the
He hasn't played a single Premier League
no,
game.
obviously
He's our
him
own
being
marquee
injured.
signing, I'd say, like you're buying a world-renowned, world-class player.
Yeah,
Everyone else Bowley's
agreed.
bought has been sort of.
potential.
But it's like when you're looking at the amount of money that he spent.
Exactly.
It's like
You
you,
cannot
expect.
throw money at problems,
You
man.
expect there to be more better players
Yeah.
now. I mean, obviously, when you're looking at someone spending £1 billion, you would expect there to be some academy players and players for the future and things like that. I mean, it would kind of be stupid not to if you're spending that
Yeah.
kind of money. But
And plus
I
if
think
you
you'd
spend-
expect the bulk of the money to be spent on people who are, going to be. I mean, like, why weren't? I mean, I know Bellingham probably wouldn't have gone there, but why weren't you trying to get him?
Right.
Something like that.
Yeah,
if you've
yeah,
got
yeah.
the money.
Yeah.
Caicedo, he was really good at Brighton, but he played like 40 odd games for them.
Yeah.
He's
Didn't
had
play,
one
and
season,
now
yeah.
he's the Premier League's
He's the Premier League's record signing. Yeah.
signing.
Yeah.
Like, no
Embarrassing.
idea why we had to spend that much money. Like, and also the fact, I think the more money you spend, the more instant you expect results to
Yeah.
happen.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Chelsea
Yeah.
have always spent money, but we've spent money on world-renowned players because we like short-term success, and we've also in the past bought players that managers wanted. Whereas this seems to be players who not many people have heard of, and I doubt that the managers that we've had in the past year have actually.
I don't
wanted
think.
these
I don't
players.
think Poch is going in and asking for these players. I think it's more just like
Exactly.
Bowley's.
Yeah.
Poch he's like a head coach,
That's
and
why
that's
that's what I want to know. Actually, are these Poch signings or are these Bowley signings?
Well,
I think they're Bowley signings.
Yeah.
I'd say
I agree, yeah.
in fact, when you look at everyone, I don't think there's a Nicholas Jackson, you could argue kind of is in the Poch mold of a striker, but apart from that, there's not many
He didn't have
people.
much choice, did he?
Well, yeah, exactly.
No one else there,
You
isn't
could think that even he, I mean, like, obviously in Nkunku, everyone would want him. But that doesn't, when there's just no one that you look at and you go, oh, Poch, he specifically asked for him. Like when Conte joined Spurs and we signed Perisic, there's no way, zero chance that Daniel Levy would have signed Perisic without Conte being there.
Yeah,
there's
yeah.
no player that you look at Chelsea and go, if Poch wasn't there, they wouldn't be a Chelsea player right
you
now.
can tell because so many of the players are either on the bench, game in, game out, or don't even make
Yeah,
the bench.
I mean, look
players
at.
we bought in the last year.
Yeah, I mean, look at Madueke the other day. He wasn't put on the bench.
I know.
Although I've said before, I think that I just think Poch doesn't like Madueke. Obviously, when he was at Spurs as a youngster, he left because he wasn't getting any first team opportunities.
Like, he wasn't a Poch signing or anything, but like that's the problem.
Exactly, that's what I mean.
These players are probably thinking, why am I even here then? If I wasn't wanted,
exactly.
why am I here? I'm
Yeah,
not playing.
and they're on such long contracts as well. It's so hard to just get rid of them because
Stamford Bridge has become like a prison cell.
yeah, you're going to be, I mean, like you're going to be, the amount of the fees that you're going to ask for these players because they've got so many years left.
Yeah.
No one's going to want to pay them because they're not going to be worth it.
Yeah, and Madueke is a really good player. And the fact is, if we say we start our front three of Jackson, Sterling, and Mudryk, we are guaranteed to score nothing. because those three in particular sky their goals. We need
And
someone
they don't
like
play with each other regularly enough to know each other's
Yeah,
game.
exactly.
Yeah.
There's no
Yeah.
chemistry, there's no
like
cohesion in this
we
game.
need to find a starting 11. What Arteta did last year, which I really, really admired, is he found a starting 11 that he
Yes, and he stuck with it week
Stuck
in,
with it,
week
yeah,
out.
yeah.
They learn each other's games.
and then obviously there was the time when Jesus got injured, and then he brought Nketiah in. But like, we need to.
But even when Nketiah came in, you could see how he was able to gel immediately with the players, which clearly means in training they're all mixing together. It's really, it was so easy. It was so seamless for him to come in.
Whereas Chelsea squad is too bloated.
Chelsea, I mean, there's so many players that, there's just no way. It takes such a long time for you to learn
Even if
people's.
you did pick like a starting 11 and stuck with it game in, game out, then you've got players who are on the bench and not getting the team.
Exactly.
Or less than a year ago,
Yeah.
up to 50 plus million. Then what was the point of spending that money then?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It's such a
Yeah.
conundrum. But
I'd say
Ugh.
I've got a question. Actually, I've just thought of this. What would you say is? Well, I've got two questions. Kind of. Number one is, what would you say is the way to fix this? Then obviously realistically, not just let's get rid of Bowley or something like that.
Scattergun approach to
Yeah.
signing players. Stop.
Yeah.
Poch needs to pick an 11, but it's difficult because something we haven't even spoken about is Chelsea's injury problems.
Yeah.
For example. We haven't even seen
injuries.
who play in the Premier League yet. So it's difficult to say when it comes to what should Poch do, but
Of course.
I know for a fact I don't want Bowley buying this many players every single window, tying them to these insane contracts and whatever. I'd like to see that stop. I'd like to see less drama at Chelsea.
Yeah.
Let's numb it down. Let's calm our expectations a bit.
Something
Let's take it slowly.
I need to criticise Poch for. The other day I think it was against Villa. We played a back four.
Yes.
He started Colwill as left back, but we had three proper left backs on the bench.
Yeah.
See,
We have those options. Use them. I mean, personally, I wouldn't start Cucurella.
No.
He had a good game against Brighton, but I wouldn't start him.
Anytime that man's on the pitch, it's a risk.
Yeah. But Chilwell and Mason, both decent players,
Yeah.
And we start a centre back, a left back,
It's like Chilwell playing left wing for most.
Or
of
Matt's
the
on
It
right
is
wing.
baffling. Yeah.
What is going? These are the sort of decisions you can sort of criticise.
Look
It
at
is
the
so weird as
options.
well
It
because
looks so weird.
when you looked at Poch's time at Spurs, everyone, he played people in clearly defined positions, and there wasn't any of this. It feels like
experimental, hasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it's it could work out in the long run, but it just seems the kind of way of his success at Spurs was that he had Wanyama and Dembele was the box to box, Wanyama was the holding.
Yeah.
He
Like
kind
he
of
knew
had
he was gonna play most
he had
weeks.
Ericsson and Dele as the creative options. Sonny is the kind of winger. Harry Kane was the pure striker. You had Kyle Walker and then later Trippier. As the kind of right back that would bomb forward, and you'd have Danny Rose who would get forward a bit, and Ben Davis, but mostly they'd kind of be there to kind of help out the two centre backs.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like there's an identity to Poch's team anymore.
No. And also the thing I worry about Todd Bowley is what I have a feeling that he spends money and invests in a team for the long term. We've ever since I've been around, we've always been a short-term success team.
Yeah.
Abramovich was ruthless. If we weren't getting results, the manager's gone.
Yeah.
And sometimes we would be mad at it. I definitely didn't like it when Mourinho got sacked the first time round, or when Ancelotti got sacked, or Di Matteo. But the long-term strategy doesn't work at Chelsea because it was for such a long time. It was a short time.
I don't mind changing this. I don't mind having this new sort of approach at Chelsea. I don't mind. Let's go for long-term stuff, but then let's actually do that. Then let's not sack a manager after 2 months. Let's not have our expectations. We're going to win something this season.
Yeah.
But like you said, that's been what's been working in the last decade or whatever. You're trying to do it. You're trying to change this approach to be long-term, but then the expectations are so high still because we're Chelsea.
Yeah.
You're sacking managers and you're buying players, and it's just a mess.
And obviously you have to be realistic about it. Obviously we finished 12th last season, and in the predictions I said for us that we finished 6th, and that's where that's where my aim is for us. I want us to get.
Was that an optimistic prediction?
Yeah. Well, it's optimistic as you can be. Like I want Europa League the best. I think that's the best we can aim for. You know? I don't want to be 12th again. I don't want to be 12th again.
I think if the thing of like, what can Chelsea do to change? I think expectations do need to be like drastically lowered.
Yeah, of
not
course.
even from a Chelsea perspective, but from the rest of the league, because
I do agree.
Just give everything, give the players time, give Poch time, just.
Let's calm down.
Everyone just calm down a bit. Yeah.
We can have these rants, but actually, let's it is early days. Like I know we've been talking about
6 games in,
and he's been making some questionable decisions.
And I also wonder in terms of the transfer strategy, what if we have been going up to these really really good big players and now they're turning us down because of what happened last season?
Yeah.
Well, I think we still have a good pull factor because we've nicked players of Liverpool in this like
but that could also be to do, I was going to say, with the money and the fact that the contracts are so long.
Of course. Yeah.
I mean, and also, I'm not saying that, I think I rate Lavia very highly, but there's a difference between him and, some of the other players that Chelsea probably should be going for that I think probably wouldn't go to Chelsea now.
I know.
So you have a point, like maybe we have to spend big because we don't have the pull anymore.
Well, it could be. I think
That's why we spend so much.
I mean, I think especially now, looking at it as a player as well, the squad is so big. I mean, I know every player rates themselves so highly. I mean, you kind of have to be a professional footballer. But it's that, would you even want to go there? You're not guaranteed any game time at Chelsea.
Yeah.
I mean, you're not even guaranteed to be in the squad.
Just having faith in you.
Yeah.
What frustrated me during the summer with our transfer strategy was the goalkeepers. Like Mendy's gone. Kepa has just gone on loan to Real Madrid.
Yeah.
We signed Rob Sanchez, who
Panic buy.
at the end of last season, he became Brighton's second choice keeper.
Yeah.
For Chelsea, I don't think he's that good. I think he was kind of like a one season. I don't think he's that good.
He doesn't give me confidence, I'll tell you that.
No,
I know he had a great game against Villa.
Yeah.
He
I mean, also
conceded more than one.
We needed to go for a bigger name. Like I wanted either of the Milan goalkeepers, like Mainon or Onana. I mean, I'm glad we haven't gone for Onana for reasons we'll
get on
later.
To.
Yeah. But we should be going for a bigger name.
Especially such an important position.
I mean,
the other teams that have, you got Alisson at Liverpool, you've got Edison at City, you've got David Raya and Ramsdale battling out at Arsenal. Like, compare that.
Yeah. Like what
to Sanchez?
You've got Brighton's backup goalkeeper as our starting one.
Like how on earth have Arsenal managed to get 2 quality keepers and we don't really even have one?
Because Arsenal are competitive, man. Arsenal are good.
I know. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's tough being a Chelsea fan at the
It
moment.
is.
It really is, because we're stuck with this mindset of like expecting success, and now we're having to sort of go through this transitional period and lower our expectations, but at the same time it hurts. You know? It does hurt.
It hurts a lot. Yeah.
I think that's probably the perfect way to sum it up, honestly.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I think obviously we just mentioned Onana. I think it's the perfect time. Man United. I mean,
now we go to the other club.
Yeah. There's. I mean, I was saying this obviously when we were kind of having a little discussion about what we could talk about in the episode. I was saying this. I think Man United are in a much worse position than Chelsea are currently. More in terms of off the field. I think on the field it probably is pretty cool.
Even if I was taking myself away from being a Chelsea fan, I'd rather be a Chelsea fan than a United fan right now.
I think if you're looking at it like, in the hierarchy in terms of the ownership, like the ownership's been a problem for a very, very long time. Like the Glazers just, they don't seem to care. Like compared to Todd Bowley, who, he cares, but just doesn't.
Probably too much.
Yeah.
Too much.
He doesn't in the right place.
Yeah, he just doesn't. He doesn't really know what he's doing, to be honest. But like the Glazers don't care, and the same with FSG actually for Liverpool.
Yeah.
But like it's.
They're so apathetic towards.
10 years since Ferguson left, and 10 years since they've actually won anything. Well, they've won the FA Cup and Europa League since, but like it's 10 years since they've won the Prem.
The difference between like Chelsea and United, I'd say, is United are they are sort of intrinsically fractured, like on all levels.
And on all fronts, yeah. I mean, when you look on the pitch, it's it's a mess really. And then you go higher up and you look at Ten Hag and kind of what's going on. Fan protests, yeah.
You've got players who are being alleged of disgusting things, and then the club having appalling sort of responses to them.
Yeah, I mean everything,
and
then
a while to release statements.
Yes,
releasing.
And then you have all these club legends coming out and saying all sorts of things. It's kind of at every level of Man United.
Yeah, I know.
Nothing's set up nothing's set up for
script, right.
success
And
at all.
going back to what you said, like it's crazy that if you thought the first three names, I'm not going to mention them on here, but like they all play for Man United. Like those players who've done bad things all play for Man United. Like it's shocking, honestly.
And it's one thing to have that, but to deal with it so poorly as well. Like,
I think that-
Greenwood is still a Man United player. Like,
Yeah.
he's on loan. Let's not forget that.
I think the thing as well is when you look at what happens with Sancho as well. Obviously, it's not
And
just
Sancho.
it's not just that they're not dealing with those horrible situations, right? It's that they're not dealing with any situation, right? I mean,
No.
you look at this,
Sancho
you look at this
is
Sancho,
interesting,
you look at this Sancho thing, and obviously, whether or not he's putting his all in and training or not, we're never going to know that. It's it's Sancho's words versus Ten Hag's word. But I mean, the fact that Sancho's not allowed to stand up for himself,
no
but
matter
Ten
what
Hag, Ten Hag's allowed to say, oh, he's not putting in his effort in training, and the club will stand behind that.
I think Ten
is so
Hag
wrong.
is a really toxic character.
I agree.
Like the whole
Bad person.
Yeah, like the stuff with Ronaldo, like how he reacted to his wife's I think stillbirth. I think with one of their children, but and just the whole way he's conducted himself.
Even
with
when he was
Sancho.
at Ajax, I think, was it Mark Overmars, who was a director or something?
He
at
is a
Ajax,
director, yeah.
It came out that he was like abusive towards women, and then I think Ten Hag was questioned about it, and he backed Overmars until the investigation had been carried through or whatever, and now through to Sancho. Because no matter what the true story is with Sancho, regardless of what it is, like there is a really bad relationship there.
Yeah.
He's getting a lot of things wrong on the pitch as well. Like I know Rasmus Højlund's, he's been struggling with his back, and there was this shocking picture of him after I can't remember what it's called. It's like cup therapy or something. He had like
cup therapy,
he had,
yeah.
like 6 marks on his back because he.
Okay.
And obviously he struggles with it. But against who did they last play? Brighton. In the Premier League.
yeah.
In the Premier League, yeah. And they and Ten Hag subbed Højlund off, and then the Man United fans booed, and I agree because Højlund was the threat. He was the threat.
Yeah. I mean the way he talks as well. Obviously after that he was like, it's a good thing that they're booing. It means that he's doing, and in a way I agree. Essentially, what he was saying was that they were booing because I was wrong to take him off, but it just kind of sounds like that he's also a man who's just like it kind of lost his grip on the whole job.
Yeah.
He's kind of. I think he's pretty. I think looking at what's going on with Sancho and stuff, I think he's definitely lost Sancho, and he's lost other players. Look at Ronaldo. I think he's lost that dressing room.
Point of his
Yeah, and I think that a lot of the players are kind of, they're not really playing for him. I think it's more about the Man United name and that kind of thing.
That's why it's so much worse, because Man United is such a big name.
Yeah, I mean, it's
The
just.
spotlight is always
It's not even the fact that he's a bad manager. He's not that. He's
No,
not
I don't think he's a bad manager.
No, I don't think he's a bad manager. I think it's more that he's a bad leader.
Yeah, exactly. His job is in danger because of that, and
when he deals with sort of like issues.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, and the thing is, it's so everything happened was so avoidable. I mean, even about Sancho, even if he wanted to put him on blast like that, clearly he didn't tell Sancho that he thought his training performance was bad beforehand, because Sancho wouldn't have come out with that statement if he had.
Yeah, exactly.
What a mess.
Do you think Man United are? We're looking at it deeper in Man United because they probably have more media attention.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
And that's probably because we have people of like big personalities like Gary Neville, Roy Keane. On
That's what
Sky
makes it
and
look
stuff.
like more of a circus.
Definitely. Yeah.
But I agree that the Glazers has been a problem for a very long time, and also something I thought about actually that not many people talk about. They're not very good at like getting rid of players. Like they keep players for a weird amount of time.
Like Phil Jones was there for 10 years.
Phil Jones,
Yeah.
isn't he still there, or has he gone now?
No, I think he's just gone this window.
Like Maguire should have left. If these players were at Chelsea, they would have gone a long time ago. Like I think Anthony Martial, if he was at Chelsea doing what he's doing at Man United, he would have gone.
100%.
He would. He would be
yeah.
gone. Maybe you could argue that De Gea might have gone earlier. I think obviously De Gea was prone to a good season every other season, wasn't he?
Yeah.
But like they keep everyone. Like it's really, really odd.
That's why they're always in debt as well, because they spend big on players.
They
can never sell.
They never sell the players. No.
Like, what are they going to sell Sancho for? He costs 70 million.
Yeah.
He's not going.
I mean, realistically, they're going to have to loan him out, and they're going to have to pay most of the wages, because the amount of money he's on, I think it's like 310, or it's definitely over £300,000 a week. I mean, no one's paying that. Man United are going to have to pay a significant amount of that money for anyone to take him on.
They'll I mean, they'll have to sell him, I think.
So
they're so like they just have no idea of what they're doing. Like even so, like the higher ups I'm talking about, like how they deal with the club. Like there's stories we've seen in the past few seasons with even with like the whole goalkeeper situation. They didn't know how to include Dean Henderson, and that's why Dean Henderson, he kind of had to drop.
It feels like whenever a player leaves, that it's something bad went on behind the scenes, and it's never on good terms.
No, exactly.
No, you're right.
It's always sort of full of spite and
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, the fact that Sancho wouldn't even. The fact that Sancho had the problem with what Ten Hag said in the press conference and then didn't go to Ten Hag, instead went out online because that's how he felt he could get his story.
Yeah.
The only way he felt he could be sort of
heard.
Heard in the media or whatever. So,
Yeah. Like,
mental.
It is incredible. I mean, obviously they've got Crystal Palace this weekend, who they did beat 3-0 in the Carabao Cup.
Yes.
Midweek. Yeah. So I mean, that is a winnable game. But then at the same time, Palace have looked good this year. I don't, obviously I think judging things based on cup matches is always kind of, teams put out different kind of level of squads and different things like that, and different managers take it seriously.
It really
or not.
depends on what the comparisons of the squads really.
Yeah. So I think I think that is going to be a tough game, and I think that when you look at how Man United have played all season, we're saying Arsenal don't have a statement victory. Every game for Man United has looked tough, and has really been a battle.
Yeah.
No games looked easy for them, and I think like the game against Burnley, they only won 1-0 and barely had any possession.
Nearly 70% possession that game.
Like
Burnley.
I know.
Yeah, Vincent Kompany ball.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you guys saw was it their opening game against Wolves?
Yeah. Their midfield was so open in that game.
Like,
I know.
Wolves
Yeah.
were the better team, and obviously, as most Premier League fans know, Wolves can't score.
Yeah.
Like they're even worse than Chelsea in that sense. But Man United went on to win, like very luckily. Like Man United were clearly the worst team.
Every other highlight was just Cunha running through.
Literally.
Straight as well. There's no skill, he just ran straight.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Didn't have to take anyone. It's just open grass. You might as well do it a cross-country marathon or something.
I know. Yeah.
Yeah, and obviously we mentioned Onana earlier.
We did.
He's turned out to be the flop of the season already, hasn't he?
Oh, I don't know.
So far. Yeah, I think it's
bad
too.
For the guy. I mean, he did come out and say in the Champions League after the Champions League game, he actually took responsibility.
I thought, to be fair,
I like that.
I think same. I like that too. I think that's definitely a sign of
isn't it?
Yeah, that's a sign of a player who wants to better themselves and really cares. Yeah.
The only thing with Onana that I've always thought is it's another ego going to Man United. Like Man United have just had so many egos at the club. That's why there's been those problems. And I think Onana is another.
He just seems like a very erratic player. Like
I do. Yeah, I do.
I think his first or second game he was shouting at Maguire.
Yeah.
You don't even know each other properly yet. So.
Yeah, that is.
Yeah, he has time to turn it around, obviously, but he's not looking good so far. But
Yeah. Right. So I think obviously before we get into our me, Sam, and Lewis doing our live FPL transfers, I just kind of want to have a little bit of a talk about the promoted teams and kind of the relegation battle and how it's sorting out early on.
All three of them are currently in the relegation.
They are all three are currently in the relegation battle, and I think usually when we see teams come up from the Championship, one of them is kind of they really take it to the Premier League, and they're kind of mid-table. They look at look at Sheffield United when they came up the first time. Look at Brentford,
Leeds'
of
first
course.
season,
Look at Leeds' first season. There's Wolves' first season. When they came back up, there's always one of those teams. Whereas so far, I think every team has struggled pretty much equally, and I think that obviously a big reason why this could be is that the TV deal money is just so different between the Championship and the Premier League, and that if you can stay in the Premier League, the amount of money you're making is just obviously going to make your team so much better.
I think the level and difference in quality between the Premier League and Championship is the biggest we've seen it in a long, long time. Apart from obviously, you can maybe say that teams like Leicester, Southampton, and Leeds have a couple of Premier League quality players left, but I think the difference is bigger than we've seen. Like I remember. When Brentford were back in the Championship, they still had players who who could go into a Premier team and do well, like prime Saeed Benrahma and stuff like that. But it's the difference in quality is mental. Have I cussed Luton? I think.
You were. Where'd you say they would finish?
I said like.
Well, you did say 17th. 16th. You did say 17th.
Yeah.
So
but I was very.
It's a bit high. Yeah.
I was very strong on Luton saying, "Oh, I don't know."
Yeah.
I mean, what I think is so mental as well is that when you look at all of the players that these teams have brought in, they're all very kind of Championship level windows. If you know what I mean.
Quality of their squads is
I mean, like looking at
the rest of the league. Sorry.
I've got all the transfer mark pages here. Like Daro Sherry from West Brom. James Trafford. Was a great goalkeeper in League One.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
To come straight up to the Championship, Michael Obafemi, who had a great year on loan at Burnley when they got promoted.
Yeah.
But again, in the Championship, you'd say Nathan Redmond there is the only one with real Premier League quality straight out the grade.
Barkley.
Yeah, exactly. Looking on again.
Championship quality. Yeah.
Again, Luton brought Barkley, but we're talking Ross Barkley. He's not the same player he was, even a couple of seasons ago.
No, and Luton got Lokonga as well, didn't they?
They did get Lokonga on loan. That you could say. Tim Krul as well. He could, on his day, but again, came from Norwich.
Is he 40 yet? He must be nearly 40.
I think he might be 39.
He's been kicking around for a while.
He's strong in the Championship. Marvellous Nakamba barely played for Aston Villa. He went out on loan or not. They got Ryan Giles from Wolves, but again, he didn't play much. It's just when you look at all of these signings, it's very much that they're not, and these players can't be on massively high wages, that you're kind of looking at, do you think all these teams are kind of almost preparing to go down?
I think all of them will go down.
Well,
maybe.
I mean,
I expected so much better of Burnley.
I still think Burnley I think Burnley have the most potential of all the others.
I agree, Burnley have the most potential.
Absolutely,
Okay,
but also you have to remember they got slapped by Man City in the FA Cup last year, and I think that was when I watched that, I was like, oh, will they struggle in the Prem? And they are struggling in the Prem, but also at the same time they were one of the best Championship teams
Ever.
Yeah. Like I don't know, like will Vincent Kompany last?
I think personally, I think that if you're looking at what these owners and boards have given the managers, that I think that all of them are going to last, because surely they can't be expecting them to do. What else? What are they expecting them to do?
Luton's manager shouldn't be sacked.
Absolutely not.
No.
I mean,
the
fact that he's got them.
Out of the three, the only person who should be worried about their job is probably Vincent Kompany. I think Burnley probably have them higher expectations.
Well, I would say that Paul Heckingbottom at Sheffield United is not. I'm not saying, but obviously they have got Cameron Archer. I think that their window's probably better than Burnley and Luton's.
Maybe.
Yeah.
In terms of kind of depth and overall quality.
Defense is just so dire though, because they play out from the back.
Yeah.
They try and play as if they have Premier League proven squad or whatever,
Which
but
they don't. Yeah.
No, so it causes them defensive frailties. But attacking wise, I think Burnley have got a lot of potential.
I do agree. I mean, but also I know that obviously that is that's not going to help wins when they're playing out from the back and stuff like that. But you kind of got to like Vincent Kompany for sticking to his guns. We kind of complain about all these Premier League all these promoted teams, or just teams that are down the bottom, that they don't play nice, attractive football. I think when one actually does, we've at least got to try and commend it for keeping their style, and not just kind of trying to lump it up and trying to play for draws and that kind of thing.
Definitely.
Burnley are really trying to win these games.
That's why I don't think Burnley will get relegated.
Ooh.
I think there's worse teams.
No, I don't think. Yeah, I think.
I think Wolves have got to worry.
Wolves and Everton are
All
in
three
the-
of them.
Wolves
All
and
three of them are currently on 1 point.
Yeah,
Which,
I think
and
Sheffield United played one more game, right?
Yeah, they played one more game. Yeah,
And that was
They lost 8-0.
a drubbing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
by Newcastle.
I mean, when when you look at Newcastle, they haven't started the season particularly well either.
That
You know,
could be really bad in the
especially in
It's
goal
how they respond
difference.
to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, obviously they just had the game against Spurs, which was such a crushing defeat. You're winning in the 97th
Yeah.
minute,
Yeah,
and then
Yeah, that's the thing for them. They had a few games like that. At the beginning.
yeah, I mean, and the game against Everton, which is, I mean, it was so early on, I don't care. That was a relegation 6-pointer.
Oh, 100%, yeah.
They look good at Cameron. I thought Cameron Archer looked outstanding in that game.
Yeah.
And I thought Everton looked pretty good as well. I thought that was a really, really fun match to watch.
to be fair, out of those three teams, until the weekend, Sheffield United probably looked
Yeah, maybe.
the strongest.
Yeah,
out of
I'd
the
say-
there's a shout for that.
I'd say
they-
until the 8-0, I actually agree, yeah.
Yeah,
that
because
they've looked like the
only
best
lost,
team.
They are, they only lost 2-1 to City. I think,
the 8-0 might. Yeah.
But the 8-0, that does change
Yeah,
things.
8-0 does
8-0.
change.
That does change
a lot.
things.
Crazy.
In that, and then obviously, I think in that point, it kind of changes to that probably Burnley look just in terms of the football they play, and they probably do have the strongest squad anyway of the three
Out of the
teams.
three, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think if you're looking at one of these teams that you're kind of expecting to stay up, I'd say that Burnley would be the team.
Definitely.
So I suppose to kind of end off this bit, I suppose there's do we think that all three of these teams will get
I
relegated?
think Luton and Sheffield United will go down.
Yeah, I agree.
I
Yeah,
think
yeah,
Burnley
yeah.
will
I
just
think
stay up.
Burnley. Yeah. I think either Everton, Wolves, one of those teams will go down.
Yeah,
So
Everton
I
or
agree.
Wolves. Yeah, I don't think Bournemouth will go down. I think Bournemouth.
No,
will
I actually
stay.
really I know Bournemouth have kind of struggled for results, but I think again the football they play have been really nice. I think
Thomas there.
yeah, Iola's come in and he's kind of really changed it around. Some of their players, Solanke's look really good.
Yeah.
You know, I think they'll probably be more kind of mid-table by the end of the season, less
And also
in
the fact
battle.
Wolves and Everton have been, they've been hanging around relegation for a long time.
Yeah.
It's been a
Everton
long time.
especially.
If they get relegated, I don't think anyone would be surprised.
No.
No.
It's been coming. It's been a long time coming. So
Yeah.
I think Luton will just be the bottom of the league then. I can see.
But
them losing
I
a game
think
like this season.
I don't know. I just think that Sheffield United will personally. I mean, you look at the 8-0, and I mean, I still think that Luton. I still think Luton can make. Obviously, I know it's a bit like Twitter and everything. It's kind of memed their stadium, but that is primed for kind of like a fortress. Like proper
The
good
underdog
home
very
atmosphere.
still.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Hands are on you
that's
kind of thing, yeah.
about the stadium that I think they probably have spent a lot of money on the stadium because they
Yeah.
had to. The first
Get it
game
up to
was,
Premier League
the first game was
regulations.
postponed. Yeah, because the first game was postponed. And they probably didn't get the opportunity to spend much on players.
Agreed,
And they
yeah.
probably never expected to get to the Premier League.
Yeah.
They just
Of
went
course
on a really, really good run. So
I mean,
maybe-
10 years ago they won the National League.
I know it's a really, really good story. Like,
Compare Luton to City, and they're in the same league.
Yeah.
I
And
know.
literally worlds apart.
yeah.
The
And
gap between the big teams and smaller teams is only
I
getting
think
bigger.
if Luton get relegated, it will be healthy for them to go to the Championship, do really well, and then come back up.
come back more experienced.
Yeah, come back
Yeah,
with
yeah.
experience.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think if they go down, there's a chance that they could come straight back up. I mean, when you look
Yeah,
at,
maybe.
I mean, look at how well they did last year. I mean, they lost Nathan Jones halfway through the year, and they looked even better
Yeah,
when
no,
he
yeah,
left.
yeah.
And
That's no surprise. is it?
Yeah.
no,
Yeah.
and Rob Edwards came in, and so I mean, I'd say that that out of the three teams, of the ones that do go down, I think Luton have the best chance to go straight back up because I think they're going to lose the least amount of players. I think Cameron Archer is definitely going to go. In fact, I think in his clause, if he gets relegated, he goes back to Aston Villa anyways.
All right.
I think Burnley, I could see that they've paid some players higher wages compared to Sheffield United and Luton.
Yeah.
And that Vincent Kompany, his job's probably, I think they'd keep him the whole season, but would he stay or would he be, would it kind of be a mutual consent thing? I don't think he'd stay if they got relegated.
Weird question. Did Burnley sign Nathan Teller permanently?
No, he went to Bayer Leverkusen.
Yeah.
Oh, did he? Oh,
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah,
That
I
would have
think
been
that's
a really good signing, yeah. That is a big
because
loss.
He was a big part of that Burnley team last season.
Yeah.
That's probably what happened. They've lost a lot of
They
their-
lost Maatsen as well.
Yeah.
from
They did, yeah.
Yeah. So.
It is, yeah. They had a lot of loan players last year as well, which did help them.
Yeah, of course.
But I think I mean, I think Luton and Sheffield United. I'm going to say, I think I said the same as you guys. I think that but again, I wouldn't be shocked if Burnley went down either. I think if they're gonna, they're gonna. I mean, it's a real possibility. I think that it's genuinely that they are all going to be in the dogfight for the relegation battle.
Yeah. But also
along with Wolves and Everton.
I'll be rooting for them though.
I do want Luton to stay up.
Oh yeah,
Agreed. Agreed.
Luton's manager's Rob Edwards.
Yeah.
It is. Yeah.
I think he doesn't have to worry about his job. I think he's
100%.
He's doing the best he can.
I mean, as long as they don't break the Derby record of points, I think he's safe 100%.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I don't think that's happening. Everyone thinks that's going to happen. Firstly, that's 11 points. There's just no way that's.
No, I can't see.
Look at how Luton played against Fulham. It was a close match, and Fulham are probably going to finish in the top half of the table.
Yeah.
Sorry, I feel passionate about that. If you couldn't,
They haven't been smacked yet.
exactly. If you couldn't tell, even the West Ham game, they scored at the end. There, they nearly got back into it and made it 2-2. So,
if any of those three managers should be worrying about their job, it'll be Vincent Kompany.
Vincent Kompany, agreed. Yeah. Right, are we ready for some live FPL transfers then? This is
sadly.
Right, I've only got.
Watch it through Lewis's perspective.
Yeah. Right.
I don't know system.
I feel like we should do rock paper scissors on who goes first.
Oh God.
Okay.
Or do we all just want to do it at the same time and then talk through what we did?
No, just do one at a time.
One at a time. Okay.
Yeah. I need to go through my transfers anyway, so.
Okay, I'll go first. Right. I'll talk through my team. While you guys are. So in goal we've got Areola and Bart Verbruggen. They're both going to be staying. Estupin and Udogi, who I bought in last week, is going to be staying. Botman's got a knee injury here, although it says he's got a 75% chance of playing, so he could be someone that's on the chopping block. I've got Gavardio, he's definitely going to be staying. Ben Mee has got a muscle injury, but he could just be left on the bench. Matoma's going to be staying. Eze, Foden. Maddison's got a knock, but everything I'm hearing from Alistair Gold and all the other Spurs people are saying that he should be fine to play. And then Isak is the other one with an injury. And I've not seen much on that. So it's between Botman and Isak for me.
Fair enough.
I think Isak's going.
How many do you have to take out, or do you have to take out?
You can choose. But the more you take out, the more points it
So you've got
costs.
to take out them three, yeah?
Well, no, because if basically you have one free transfer a week. So if you don't use it, you can stack them. So you could get 3 or 4 if you didn't make transfers.
Do you think I should take out players if they're suspended?
Yeah. Well, I mean, you can bury someone on your bench if
of course.
I think I'm going to take out Isak because there's no way Vinicius can start for me.
Yeah.
So we're gonna be selecting a replacement. We got 10.8 mil in the bank.
So many choices.
Yeah, God, who to pick? Let me look at total points.
What other choices?
Ooh.
I hope I have a wild card or something.
I could-
I have to be making a lot of changes.
So I've got that.
I could get Julian Alvarez in. I think that could be a good shout.
Yeah.
No, I've got that. 6.7.
But he only got 1 point last week though.
So literally.
Ollie Watkins. We did mention Solanke. I could get him in, but he's got a little yellow thing next to his name.
Oh right, okay.
Diaby's a good shout.
I did mention
Yeah.
Cameron
Or
Archer.
Matoma. Diaby or Matoma.
Oh.
I'm going to give Højlund a go. I'm going to give Rasmus.
Giving Højlund a go. I like it.
Oh, you look.
I've got Højlund and Haaland in my team. Yeah.
Oh,
Nice.
you got a Ray. Ooh, Wissa. That could be a nice little
Not funny.
But I've got money to spend though. I think I might as well just.
That's fantasy football suicide, that is.
Also,
Putting Mudryk in, that's what that is.
I've got Rodri, I got
Let's
suspended.
have a look.
So,
Wait, go back up for a bit. I think I saw
Fantasy football suicide.
That should.
Jeremy Doku.
Jeremy
He's been getting quite a few starts recently.
Yeah, he scored against
Ooh.
West Ham, didn't
Do
he?
you think? Who?
They're playing
Yeah, and
Wolves.
Guardiola seems to like him.
Playing Wolves as well. It's not a bad show.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh.
Oh, yeah, because you've got to think
What?
who they're playing, obviously.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
like, Matt,
I like
Man
that,
City,
actually.
who
I'm
are
gonna
Brighton
do-
playing? Who are Brighton and Aston Villa playing?
Each other.
They're playing each other?
Yeah.
Ah, okay.
Wait, hold on, what first time?
Ooh. I think I'm going to go with an out there one. Carlton Morris from Luton, but they've got a double game week away at Everton and at home to Burnley. That's
In
two.
fairness, yeah.
That's two matches he could score points
Two
in.
winnable games.
That's interesting. Okay.
I think that's who I'm going for.
Okay.
I did not think that was how this was going to start.
I think I'm done.
I do have a wild card available, but I'm going to save
So
it.
you're going to stick with Madison. What about Isaac?
Yeah, they're injured, but I think I might risk it.
Right. I'm risking Botman then.
I feel like the Isaac injury can't be that serious.
I hadn't even
Otherwise, we
heard
would
of
have
it.
heard it.
Oh,
Yeah,
He literally played yesterday.
I think I'm not going to risk Botman, and I'm going to start Gavardio.
It's not a bad show.
Yeah. So all right, we'll
Darwin
run.
Núñez being in there.
Darwin Núñez is
He's coming into his own.
he's my best player, I'll be honest.
I like Núñez.
Yeah.
Dart with it.
He gets like bantered, but he's actually
Yeah.
quite
He's becoming really good now. Right. I think when you guys are done, we'll.
Thank God I'm using my free hit this time.
Ooh.
I'm using my
Oh,
free
which
hit,
one
yeah.
big?
Because I've made 5 transfers. So
Oh damn!
Yeah.
Has that cost you points?
no, because I've used my free hit. So
Oh, you've used a free hit, of course, yeah.
Okay.
Right, when you guys are done, we'll all read out our teams and we'll mention what's going on in the league as well.
Please don't.
We will, Lewis.
please
That's happened at the end.
Look, next week I'll be up there, I promise.
That's what they all say, Lewis. That's what they all
I
say.
told you who they were playing like on this immediate.
You have to check. Yeah.
Kind of
I mean, I'm happy to go with mine now if you want.
If you well, I mean, I'm ready as well. We'll just wait for Lewis
Okay,
and
yeah,
then.
yeah.
I wasn't prepared.
I was just about to laugh as well. I kept it in.
Right. Okay, so transfers have been made.
Yep.
Negotiations have been had. We're all ready.
Yeah, here we go.
Yeah, here we go. It's been confirmed. So I'm going to start with my team for game week 7, and let's get going. So I've got Areola in goal. We've got a back 3 of Estupiñán, Udogie, and Gavardio. In my midfield, I've got Matoma, Eze, Foden, Maddison. I'm risking it, but everything I've heard is good. Son, and then up front I've got Haaland, and I've got Carlton Morris from Luton. However, I will explain. I did transfer in for Isaac, but he's got a double game week, and it's Everton away and Burnley at home. I mean, if there's ever a time he's going to bag a bunch of goals,
Smart thinking.
it would be now.
Very smart thinking.
Who's up for
I'll go next.
next?
Right, okay. So I'm last, but I was going to say it before everyone else.
Oh.
I am last.
You're
right?
owning it.
I'm owning it. Only just though. I'm catching Sam, don't you worry. So I've got Alisson in goal, Walker, Zinchenko, Trippier, Doku, who was a transfer for Rodri, got sent off, obviously. Rashford, Maddison as well. I thought, I don't know, I'll risk it. Ward-Prowse as well, and then Haaland, Isak, and Darwin Núñez. It's my team. So my 2 transfers were Zinchenko in for Ben Mee, who's injured, and Doku in for Rodri. So yeah.
I like it.
Nice. So for me, I made 5 transfers this week.
Gone big.
Gone big. Yeah.
Chelsea.
But use my free hit. So in goal, I've got David Raya. But my backup goalkeeper, I was switching between Raya and Ramsdale just to depending on
You never know who's going to
Yeah. But now
Yeah.
I think Raya is pretty much, the Arsenal's number
He's
one.
the number
3
one
starts
choice.
in a row.
Yeah. And he played in the Champions League, so.
Yeah.
So, Michael, you'll like this. My backup keeper is Vicario.
Yay!
My defenders are Saliba, Trippier, and new signings by the team, Estupiñán.
I like
Nice.
it. I like it.
Good
Our left back in the team of the season.
Yeah. I had some money to spare. I've never had that before on FPL. I used to
Sam, you're balling.
Yeah.
Sam.
So I brought in Mr. Son Heung-min.
Oh.
And I vice captained him as well. So
Come on.
and then there's also Tonali, Matoma, and Enzo. And then my front 3 are Højlund, Haaland, and João Pedro.
I like João Pedro. I like that.
Yeah.
That's a really good team.
Yeah.
Right. So we'll just finally end off. We're in Sam's league here,
Yeah.
and so we'll just talk about our positions in it currently.
Yeah.
I'm currently in 3rd, got 351 points. I'm like 32 off the top. We've then got Sam with 309 in 8th, and Lewis, he's in last with 300. But he did get more points than Sam last game week, so
Catching you up, Sam.
he's
Are
catching.
you actually like dead bottom of the?
Yeah, but
He's dead bottom.
Tenth.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
We
I had a stinker last week. Oh my god.
special.
Yeah,
Had Rodri
we will
and
keep
Messi.
tabs on FPL every week.
I mean,
so
now
you-
we're doing this. I'm going to check my team more often.
Yeah, you guys will know. Whoever finishes last out of us 3, they're going to be named and shamed on this podcast.
Yeah.
Like
It's not going to be me.
we're going to know. All right.
All right, the loser buys everyone else drinks.
Deal.
I reckon that's it. Let's shake on it.
Shake on it. All right.
Okay,
yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Ed isn't doing FPL, so that means
So
he's
you get
lost
me a
already.
drink as well, yeah?
No, Ed isn't doing FPL, so he's already lost, right?
I like it. I like it. I like it.
Oh, I see what you're insinuating now.
I get behind that.
So you're buying us drinks.
Downloading fantasy.
He's going to catch on after like 7 game weeks.
Honestly, I give up.
Mate.
I give up.
Right, that is all we've got time for on the first episode of On the Pitch. It's been really fun, and obviously
you.
we've now got 3 regulars. Look at this.
That's good. Oh, thank you for inviting us on to be regulars, man. Really appreciate it. You're doing such a good job here.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, it's such good fun. It's such good fun, man.
Mate, yeah, we're so excited. Again, this episode, we're going to try and record it every Wednesday. Sometimes it might be recorded on Tuesday or Thursday. And I'm going to try and get it uploaded every Thursday or Friday, sometimes Saturday if I can't be bothered to edit, I'm going to be honest. But yeah.
It will be Saturday.
Hey! All of our football discussions links will be in the description. Our Twitter or X or whatever the hell it's called this week.
Yeah.
Instagram will be down below. Obviously, this podcast is available on both Spotify and YouTube. So if you're watching on YouTube, please give us a subscribe, a like. If you're watching on Spotify, give us a 5-star. It very much helps us out. And yeah, thank you very much for listening, everyone.
Like, subscribe, and share, or your team will lose 8-0.
What he said. I like it.
What Sam said.
Yeah.
Goodbye.
Bye. Very nice.
Oh, look at that.
Bravo.